Chat Cave with Mike and Max.
Welcome back to the Chat Cave here on McGTV, youtube.com/MikeMcGTV. Follow me on Twitter at MikeMcGTV. And again, my co-host is here, Max from Three Geeks Podcast, back in the Chat Cave to do our first part 2.
Yes, I'm excited. We had our first cliffhanger, and this is the first part 2 that we've ever had in the Chat Cave. This is history.
Yes. So as you heard in part 1, which I probably dropped the day after we record this. So part 1 was our exploration of our favorite Batmobiles, or the history of the Batmobile, in which we started with its early origins in the comics, its many permutations through TV, movies. We had just left off, I believe, on the Arkham Knight Batmobile from the video games.
Yeah. Which I enjoyed. I like that Batmobile a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had some hate for it, but again, it was the only new thing out of all 3 games, so I enjoyed it. Yeah. I really did.
But
and the design was all right. It's very tanky.
Oh yeah, it's heavily tanky, but that's kind of the aesthetic a lot of modern Batmobiles are going for, because hot off the heels of that came, of course, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which introduced Batfleck to the world, and a new Bat mythos that incorporated, of course, a new Batmobile. What did you make of this new design for the Batmobile?
This one looks like a Corvette with guns on the front of it. It's like a sleek kind of sports car with guns on the front of it. I don't really dig this one. I'm not. It's the movie kind of soured me on the Batmobile, but I don't feel like the Batmobile was very strong from this movie anyway.
For those who need a reminder as to what this Batmobile looked like, let me bring up a little bit of an image for that one, because that's what I've been doing here lately, is sharing some images to go along with these. But the thing is,
love those visual aids.
Yeah, visual aids help make the world go round for us here in the video podcasting world. But for this particular Batmobile, I don't know, he was much more, let's say, on the nose with the gun turrets than they have been in previous incarnations.
No, I think like the only one more just like flamboyantly just having guns about it is the 89
mm-hmm.
the 89 Batmobile.
So there it is for you. I mean, this Batman is definitely more overt about killing, and I don't know, it seems pretty light. Like,
yeah, it actually reminds me of, I don't know if you're a Fast and the Furious aficionado like I am.
Nah.
But there's in one of the Fast and the Furious, they drive these little wedge cars that they use to get underneath other cars,
mm-hmm.
and this looks like those.
It doesn't look like it'd be the most comfortable to sit in, though, because it only seems like you only got like a thin amount of space there, and then that canopy is not allowing for a lot of headspace from the looks of things.
No, and I'm surprised it's a 2-seater.
Well, it was established he had a Robin in that continuity, so you can imagine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it was also established that Robin has been gone for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's the thing.
But it's okay. It's totally serviceable as a Batmobile, except for I'm not a huge fan of just like the turret-mounted Uzis on the front of that thing.
Yeah, right on the front, like he's not even hiding it. But I guess it does go the aesthetic that like that Batman was so over everything at that point. He's like, fuck it, I'll put guns.
Yeah, for sure. It tells that story for sure.
Yeah. And I feel it's got a light enough frame that, I could believe that this thing could run into Superman and it'd go flying. So, no problem.
Yep.
So, that brings us pretty much up to date when it comes to cinematic Batmobiles, aside from the Batmobile that has yet to debut in 2021 or whenever this movie is coming out, the Batman. And this is the one this is what inspired you to want to be talking about uh,
Yeah, I have not
this
been
topic.
as excited for a Batmobile as I am for this Batmobile in a long time. I'm sad they keep on running into hiccups because I'm like, the Batmobile doesn't change. Okay, the Batmobile can't catch COVID. I don't understand why this movie is being delayed.
Well, as I share a little image of it here, why don't you wax poetic about what you're looking forward to from this iteration of the vehicle?
Well, this Batmobile looks like something out of like a car, somebody's garage. Like somebody who doesn't have all the like it's not a Ferrari factory that this car came out of. So I really dig that. It looks like a Dodge Challenger or a Dodge Charger that he's repurposed to be a Batmobile, and I really dig it. It's one of my favorite muscle cars. This the Coke bottle muscle car design is just, and I dig it. It's still got the freaking turbine in the back, but and that's kind of like you can see the styling. It kind of gives its bat looks a little bit, but it's all functional. So I really dig this car. You can kind of see some computer stuff going on. There's some lights back here in the cockpit. So like I'm not sure what the interior is gonna look like, but as far as the exterior, it definitely looks like a car that somebody has repurposed. Like it's like, okay, I buy this car, I can slap these parts onto it, put the turbine in the back, and we're good to go. So I super dig it. If they're telling an early Batman story, this is great. This is so
Yeah.
wonderful.
So it's the DIY aspect of it that really kind of appeals to you. Like,
Yeah, because I mean, like and we were talking before, like in the Batman the animated series, he has somebody to build the car for him. And the tumbler he didn't build. He, like that was just something that
he
he's like,
gave it a
oh, well,
paint
I'll just use
job.
that tank. Yeah. As long as it comes in black, we're good. But
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, like, you know, the Batmobile has to sit parked when Batman's not in it. So it's like it would be better if it looked more like a regular car. It could pass as a regular car at first glance if you're not paying a bunch of attention.
Yeah, you bring up a good point of is the idea of like, just regular camouflage out in the open, so to speak. It reminds me of I don't know if you ever read like the Nightwing series when it first got its start, when he first moved to Bloodhaven and became kind of his own crime fighter, is that he established himself in Bloodhaven and he established that he had a garage that he would go to. And so he had like the structure and framework and the engine of his vehicle that he wanted to use, but then he'd have like contraption that would put shells over top of that framework, so it'd be like a taxi cab or a patrol car or his trademark Nightwing mobile or whatever he called it. And so when I first saw images of this, it reminded me a lot of that kind of that whole like, oh, this could just be any old car out in the open. I mean, one thing twice, except for there's a turbine on the back of it.
Yeah, but I mean, if the turbine isn't lit, it just looks like something that somebody's doing,
Yeah.
and there's no like, oh, that's definitely the Batmobile, like, because like, why don't they just boot the Batmobile?
Yeah, honestly, watch. You don't know, that might
Oh,
actually happen in the movie at this point.
he illegally parks and comes back like, I was only gone for a minute.
He's only been on the job for 2 years apparently in this movie, so yeah, you never know. It could be just a rookie mistake, man. Batman got
Yeah,
his
I mean, like, I'm getting a little more into cars, like, personally. So 2 years to have that kind of work done on your car is actually very very fast. Which again, like, he's got the money, so that makes a little bit of sense. But I dig it. Yeah, I really do like the sort of I built this myself sort of feel to it, and because you don't really get that out of a lot of different
right.
Batmobiles. Now, a couple
Yeah.
of comic book ones seems like just like repurposed cars.
Mm-hmm.
So that like that's cool. Like the earlier comic book ones, there's some through the '80s. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is just so good. I'm really excited to see this thing in motion. I'm wondering what gadgets they put in there, and I'm ready to see what this Batmobile can do. I'm ready to be impressed.
Okay. Well, we'll close out with gadgets later on here, but What I actually discovered, it's a good thing we did break for a part 2 here, because it allowed me to do a little bit more kind of just fun research on my own. And by research, I just found an article that talked about the Batmobile, and I'll link it in the podcast because they'll go into more depth about like all this stuff. But I was wondering, like, what were some really weird Batman designs or Batmobile choices that came to mind for a lot of writers or a lot of artists throughout the years. And this isn't necessarily a weird Batmobile design, but I just wanted to share this with you nonetheless. I remember when we were talking about Alfred, he had his own chat dossier. I mean, we talk about Alfred all the time. But
Alfred is the worst.
Yeah. But remember, we were talking about comics Alfred, how in like the 60s and so forth, he actually was a villain. He was the outsider, and actually like stalked Batman and Robin because he was presumed dead. Alfred was presumed dead, but then he was experimented on, and he gained like superpowers and things like that. And so I found this old cover that uses the Batmobile in this way, because apparently, I guess maybe the outsider's powers back in the day were that he could kind of either come up with images or take the form of many different things. And so there's this one cover of, I think it's Detective Comics, or yep, the Batmobile comes alive, pouncing at him like a wild animal.
All right, it's got the shield on the front. I dig that, but it looks like the canopy is. What Batmobile is that?
I mean, this is new look Batman. You know, this is the first time he's got the yellow behind his symbol. You know, that's leading into the Adam West stuff. So this is like, I want to say the 60s at some point, if not maybe.
Yep, I dig it, and that would be terrifying.
Yep.
If the Batmobiles just started attacking me, I don't know what I would do. And you know, because like then you have to kill something you love.
Oh man, could you imagine like a Christine styled like horror movie with the Batmobile as the villain?
Oh, dude, who would? How do you survive that? Like the Batmobile wins.
It's because not only is it like fast and predatory looking, but it's got gadgets, you know, and
it's got like the Batmobile has been hooked up to the internet since the 40s. It's like it's There's no way, especially if it's in a modern time where it can like get satellite feeds and stuff like that. There's no way you live.
Jeez. So I just thought I'd share that quick before we get into this portion, which is the stranger Batmobile choices that some have been, some haven't been, or could have been in movies and TV and comics, especially because, you know, artists take a lot of liberties. Writers like to create new worlds with the characters, and so put their own spin on familiar gadgets and contraptions. And so there's this CBR.com article which was published this past March, which says the 10 strangest Batmobiles in the Dark Knight's history. We've talked about a couple of them, like they mentioned the Dark Knight Returns tank, so we're not going to go over that again. But I just wanted to show you some that I came across while reading this article. This first one, I guess, was from a book called Batman the Cult. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Like I said, I'm not going to go into depth about what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and share the image with you and link the article in the description. But here is, I guess, the Batman monster truck.
I mean, look at the freaking rocket launcher in the back of that thing. Oh my goodness. Are those like ray beams that's shooting at people? Or is that just gunfire?
It might just be gunfire or harpoons or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is I don't know what to think about this thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I thought the whole thing with monster trucks is that like the actual like, you know, engine and, you know, the guts of the car are the main part of it, and then like just the top is purely just for the sake of keeping the driver in. Like, it's not supposed to be heavy duty, like just to kind of protect them, but also it's more decorative than anything else, right?
Yeah. Monster trucks are like 85%, or would you say 80% tire, 15% engine and 5% cockpit. Like
Yeah.
it's
So I
you
can't.
know, like that's Gravedigger. But I don't know what this thing is.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's like a
ridiculous, man.
mobile fortress.
So there we go. That is from a book called, like I said, Batman the Cult. That's the
There's not
Bat
even any
monster
bat
truck.
aesthetics to it. Like it's
No.
just
Yeah, it's just a monster truck with a rocket launcher or something on the back there. So
fucking battery of rockets. Oh my goodness.
I mean,
That thing's
w-
absurd.
we're only getting to the tip of let's say overindulgence when it comes to Batman and his toys. You remember Jean-Paul Valley, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Azrael.
Azrael, Night Quest, Night's End, that whole time he took over as the heavily armored Batman who fired shuriken at people. So
Technically
while,
not a gun if it shoots shuriken.
yeah, technically blades aren't bullets, I guess.
They're just worse.
They're just worse. So while especially when he was Batman, they used the Bat like rocket car, I guess, wherein it ran along tracks underneath Gotham City. Like he had his own subway system, basically. And so this was the Batmobile they used for that. Yeah, it's like the Bat rocket car. You can see there it's on the tracks. But I just find it kind of hilarious that either Bruce or Jean-Paul spent, I'm guessing, a few years laying track.
No, it's got to be like the old Gotham rail system. They like built
Yeah?
over it, you know.
Is
like,
that's the same one they had in the Ghostbusters 2?
Yes, exactly.
There's a river of slime.
It sort of reminds me of like a mine cart.
Yeah, a little bit. A heavily fortified mine cart. Absolutely.
Yes. No, not my favorite. This isn't even my favorite weird Batmobile.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's actually
I think Monster Truck is winning.
Yeah, Monster Truck is winning so far. But I feel that fits with what Jean-Paul Valley was doing at the time. Like he was just more about like, I just need to be as effective as possible, and it's more efficient to just be under the city, you know, and find ways around instead of just gallivanting around in a car on the roads.
Right. You know, after the third or fourth time the Batmobile got booted, he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna get the mine cart. Like, this is ridiculous.
I don't know how the first guy dealt with this bullshit, but not me.
Nope, scrapping the whole plan. Game over.
So we talked about the Batmobile tank from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. Coming back
rubber
to Frank.
Bullets.
Yes, rubber bullets. That's important. Going back to Frank Miller world, but not quite as good Frank Miller world. All-Star Batman and Robin.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about here?
Yes. I'm kind of excited for this one. This is gonna get my honorable mention, but you brought it in here, so I'm even more happy.
I give you the most jacked up Batmobile that I guess is also a submarine.
Oh no, this isn't the one I was thinking of. I'm thinking of the Batman and Robin when Dick Grayson is Batman. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, well, hey, quit reading my mind, dude. You're jumping ahead.
Okay. I'll get out of your head and back into the Batmobile. Yes. This thing is freaking sweet.
Yeah, this thing is on steroids right now, but it's basically all purpose. Like here, it's submarine, but you know it can
it's a bit transformer. It's a car. It's a boat.
Yeah.
I didn't see it fly. I don't think it flies.
I can't remember. It's been a long time since I read any of those books. I didn't even read the whole series.
I didn't read all of them. I read like the first 3, but then they took a while to come out.
Oh, fun thing about that, I remember like when he basically kidnapped Dick Grayson after his parents' murder. And no, my favorite scene in this whole thing is when they paint the room yellow and fuck up the Green Lantern. Yes, we talked about that. No, we also talked about how he ran Vicky Vale and Alfred off the road in a high-speed pursuit. And Alfred had to like give Vicky like first aid, and so Alfred rips off his shirt and he's just like jacked. It's just like,
yeah, man. That's the first time that's what he actually brought Vicky Vale down to the Batcave for. He was like, I'm Batman, but then Bruce came home, so he's like, I brought your girlfriend, sir.
Playing Doofy as soon as he enters the room because he knows he's crazy, because that Batman is psychotic.
Yes, no, that's
all right.
All-Star Batman and Robin was a trip for sure.
Yes.
I didn't even read the whole thing.
Absolutely. All right, Max. Like I said, you jumped the gun, but I'll forgive you for it, because here we have. There we go.
Now this is like a straight up flying Batmobile.
Yeah.
They yeah. So this is when Dick Grayson, Batman was presumed dead. So Dick Grayson took over the mantle of Batman, and Damian Wayne is Robin.
Yes.
Now I like this car because this most closely resembles the car that I'm currently driving, like as far as like the body shape. So like in all seriousness, I'm planning on trying to make my car as much into this as possible.
I love how it has like an angry face.
Yeah. I like the bat symbol. Yeah, it does have the angry face. I like the view, like the windscreen being the bat symbol.
Yeah, that is cool.
I think that's just lovely.
And yeah, it just basically destroys all notion that it's an actual car. It's a hovercraft, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely the most airborne of Batmobiles, that without being a bat plane.
Yes, absolutely. It's just close enough to the ground. And again, I just love that face. He looks mad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's angry. It's coming for you.
Grant Morrison, man, he can craft a story, and his artist can draw an angry Batmobile. So there we have it. So that was the one you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and that's only personally because I'm trying to turn my car into that.
Into that one, okay.
Without the hover, like I'm not trying to make a hovercraft. It's just going to be a car.
All right. Now brace yourself.
Okay.
How much do you know about the production of Batman Forever? Other than directors,
not much.
Okay. Because apparently, did you know at some point they went out to Alien concept creator H.R. Giger to design a Batmobile for Batman Forever?
Okay.
So
this is the guy who designed the Alien, or designed like the forklift thing that Ripley was driving?
Designed the Alien.
Okay. That's the guy you want.
So I guess this is legit. This is like legit, like pre-production stuff that they had, tossed around as a possible idea.
What? What is this? Is that a wheel in the middle?
Yeah, from what it looks like, there's a main wheel in the middle, and then there are wheels on the side that have guns protruding out of them.
Oh, those are wheel wells. Okay, wow. Okay, like this one is offensive. Like Batman would do some damage in this. I don't understand why this car would be built, and I don't understand how you see out of it.
Yes, I have many questions about that. Like, and also,
this is more
what's the bat part of this? What is it?
Yeah, it's like tentacles. Like if Cthulhu drove a car, he would drive this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's from the same guy.
How long is this thing?
Yeah, it's from the same guy who brought us Alien. So I mean,
yeah. Now, if the Alien had a car, it would be this.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my God, this does not function at all.
I'd expect the space jockey to be riding this. Absolutely.
Yeah. This thing would definitely suffer from the animated series, like, windiness if it was going down a curvy road. You know, like it would have to.
You wouldn't be able to navigate in this thing. What I love especially is that basically it has 8 guns on its wheels. It has a gun on each wheel, and it looks like there's 4 wheels on each side.
Yeah.
So they're really leaning into the whole. That Batman would have been a killer at that point.
Oh, murderous. This is like if this is like if the Red Hood, if Jason
Todd,
if he had a Batmobile, it wouldn't look like that, but it would have that many guns on it.
Man.
He's like, basically, from this, we can salvage the guns. We're gonna scrap everything else.
But that's the thing. It looks like so otherworldly, and it looks like it would be something like a Batman in the year 3501 would drive, maybe like
Right.
the far-flung future.
Or if Mum-Ra from Thundercats had a car, it would look like
that would
that.
be it. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a great comparison. Yeah, honestly, it comes close to something you'd see on in his evil lair. So yeah, but
that is weird. I'm glad they didn't go with that design.
But brace yourself, Max, for this final design.
Again?
Well, yeah, because guess what? The 90s, we can be honest, the 90s were a time in comics and superheroes about overcompensating, right? Like, there was a lot of excess and a lot of we got to overcompensate for some certain things. And boy, oh boy, does this kind of scream that.
Bracing myself. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Batman had his midlife crisis in the mid-90s, everybody.
Like Bat Dick the car?
Yes.
What?
That is a very
How phallic can you get? This is ridiculous. Oh my God, with the face on the front? Like this is just the height of self-indulgence. This is
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Like, did he just beat up the Joker like the week before or something like that? He's like, you know what? I'm the shit. I'm gonna make this car. Oh my God, look at that thing. That is terrible.
I do remember seeing it in a comic once. I can't remember what the comic was. I don't know if it was like a joke comic or like this was legitimately supposed to be the Batmobile that he was driving. But
this is a Batmobile unlike any other for sure. Wow.
It's definitely trying to overcompensate for something. It's so
I mean, okay, you know what though? Like if Bruce Wayne has a small penis, that because you can't have roguish good looks, filthy rich, ninja skills, and a big dick. Okay, you can't have all of those.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah, unless you're Chris Evans.
Apparently. Yeah.
But no, it's ridiculous. Like that car is absurd. You have to have buyer's remorse. Like the second, like when you walk away from it and then walk back, how do you like get in that car?
I mean, yeah, it's not. You definitely can conceal that on the street like you could with Robert Pattinson's upcoming Batmobile. Everyone knows you've been there.
There's no mistaking with that giant battering ram on the front.
Yeah,
like, come on.
And it is basically just a giant penis with wheels driving around. It's like people will remember that. If you want to,
the wheels like the way they designed it, it looks like just a giant bat dick running around because like the wheels look like the testicles. Like
yes.
it is just it is. I think it's only got 3 wheels, right? Or no, there's 2 wheels on each side. Can you bring that picture back up again?
Sure. Let me. Absolutely, Max. You need another good long look at that, of course.
Oh my God.
I would like to think that there's a third wheel we're not seeing, maybe at the front, because how are those 2 wheels supposed to support that long ass thing in the front?
It's gyroscopes, so it drives like this the whole time. He's doing like a wheelie.
Yes, and it symbolizes how he's always up and ready for any action. Yes, I get it. But that's the thing. It's like if you want to be able to make a fast getaway, say the Penguin has framed you for something again, and like you got to make a fast getaway. Everyone will remember which way the giant bat dick with wheels went.
Right. I mean, like to their credit, I mean that looks like it's all engine. Like there's a giant blower on the top of it.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like a W32 engine or something like that. Like I don't know how many cylinders that thing has, but it's got to be a ridiculous number And I mean, at least you could get away quickly if you can drive that thing. Again, like, I don't know how you drive it when it's up like this though, because with the cockpit where it is, you can't see
Yeah, you won't be able to
anything.
see anything. I don't know, dude.
But whatever.
Art,
At least you're cool.
yeah.
You got the 35-foot bat dick.
Look, comic book art design, it's challenging. It's a challenge, so you do what you can, obviously. But that was sort of a weird little tour I found myself in after we ended part 1 last week. So I thought I'd share some. I had a feeling those last 2 you'd kind of be like, what the hell?
Yeah, like it's comic books, and like we want people to be creative, and it's sometimes it doesn't exactly pan out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a 35-foot bat dick.
Yep. Sometimes you just peak, and the vehicle represents it. So that's really the only stuff I got on the Batmobile at this point. Like, I want to save other Bat vehicles for future chats, perhaps, because we can get into a whole thing there. But what I wanted to kind of wrap things up on this part 2 with you, Max, is a hypothetical. Because, we used to do this all the time with Chat Caves, is I'd wrap things up with a hypothetical on you and challenge you to think about an answer in the moment. And so the question I pose to you here is, the Batmobile has a host of different functions, a host of different gadgets at its disposal, from grappling hooks to making wide turns to being able to dispense like those little like explosive balls or whatever that trip up, cars in pursuit, to oil slicks or whatever, to guns just straight up on the front of it. What is a function in the Batmobile that you haven't seen yet that you would want to add?
Ooh, I wish you'd have asked me this beforehand.
Sorry.
That's rough. That's a good question. What would I have that I haven't seen before?
I mean, in all fairness, I just thought the question as we were looking at Bat Dick, so I had to. I don't have an answer yet either.
Okay. Let's see here. So the Batman right becomes a submarine. I would like to see in the Batmobile. I would like to see a camouflage, so again, so it's not just obviously the Batmobile. He never, like, so far in the movies or anything, like, he's never done, or like you're saying with Nightwing, he's never done anything to camouflage the Batmobile. Or any of these vehicles. It's always just obviously a bat thing. So I would like to see a little more, like it turns into an Oldsmobile or something. Like,
okay, so like sort of like a Transformers type thing where it just transforms into another type of car.
Or like if you think about like the Men in Black car.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Something like that.
Cool.
I'd have to go with that because, like, I don't know. I'm hard pressed to think of something they haven't done yet.
Yeah, honestly. What I'm just thinking about right now, just because I don't know why, but the Batman versus Ninja Turtles movie came back to mind for me. Pizza oven. Something in between the two seats. So you could just like slice a pie, slide a pie in there and let it heat for a bit. Because you got to have time to eat when you're on the go crime fighting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, pizza oven would be good. Yeah, because you put the pie in, go fight some crime, come back. You're gonna be hungry.
Yeah.
Recharge. And back at it. You don't even have to stop at Pizza Hut or nothing. You don't have to call anybody.
You don't have to stop for drive-through like you did in Batman Forever. It's like you can eat on the go. I'm sure Batman's a safe one-handed driver.
The back credit card.
Yep, exactly. Don't avoid all that foolishness. But yeah, something that just like maybe or at least if not an oven, then just like a cooler or a thermos or something, something that keeps your hot stuff hot and your cold stuff cold. Very basic.
For sure. I would like to actually hook up the Batmobile with like Apple Pay or Google Pay. Like that would be good. If you just drive it up to something and it pays. Like,
scan a barcode and you're good. I mean, you got to have something in there for all the cold soup that Alfred gives him. It's like, yeah.
I mean, what didn't chicken soup defeat Mr. Freeze? So like, don't knock it.
Don't knock it. You never know when you got to hit a villain in the face with some chicken soup. It's a whole other tangent that's the one part of that episode I'm kind of like, okay, they had to think of something, obviously, and it's a kid show. Sure, it's still a kid show, even though this is a really depressing episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How does Batman beat this heartbroken man? Chicken soup to the face.
Hey man, chicken soup for the soul.
Good catch, good catch. This is why we have a partnership here onto the Chat Cave, is for the jokes like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've been listening to the Chat Cave here on McGTV. Thank you for sticking with our Batmobile retrospective and our exploration into the weird and phallic of Batmobile. Here in part 2.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. I think it's hard for a man to design a car without,
thinking about
without
that.
doing that. So, I mean, somebody had to do it at some point in time. It's just a matter of time.
You never know. That could have been someone else's design, and Bruce is just like, I guess this is what I got to work with.
Yeah, I've tried everything else.
So that's the last time. That's the last time I let. Oh God, I can't even think. That's the last time I let Liberace design my Batmobile. I guess. Hey,
for sure. Contract canceled.
I mean, whatever. It gets the job done. I'm sure it's intimidating. So, to somebody, it's intimidating.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't even imagine what I would think if I saw that driving down the street. Like, you're like, I don't think you'd even be able to comprehend like what you're looking at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how can he be this mystery man, that's supposed to blend into the shadows and vanish into the night when everyone's going to remember the night they saw the giant bat phallus, tearing down the road.
Yeah.
The giant bat thing. Yeah, that went up to Wayne Manor. No, there's no way I would not see that happening.
Right? Like, it's weird how it always drives towards Wayne Manor. Yeah, whatever.
Just saying. You might want to check that out, Kamish.
Oh goodness.
Oh,
terrible. So terrible.
But that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having a good laugh with me to round out that exploration, Max. Any fun 3 Geek stuff?
It's been my utmost pleasure.
Any 3 Geek stuff coming up for you guys?
Actually, we've got so many interviews. So we're like doing a new thing where we just like talk to people. We've been talking to a lot of people in the film industry, all up and down, all walks of life, and so look out for that. We've got more podcasts coming on the regular. We've actually been pretty good about on the regular just doing our cast. So just more content from 3 Geeks, and we're just working hard trying to do stuff and get it out there.
All right. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for listening to the Chat Cave here. What are some weird Batmobiles or fun Batmobiles you've seen that we missed out on? Because I'm sure there's a lot we missed out on. But...
Oh yeah, there's definitely way more comic book Batmobiles that we haven't seen.
The guy Bruce burns through money. So yeah. But just let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff that you're supposed to do. And what do we usually say here, Max?
Hey, catch us same chat time, same chat channel, Mike McGTV.